Did you know? The mother of Pooh Shiesty, the first rapper to rob someone with a pistol in a McLaren and show it off on Instagram while traveling out of state in a private plane, just revised his release date on her Facebook page.
The barrage of sending 2 people to the hospital, and it lands a rapper in jail. 7 Sheldon Fox with the exclusive.
Police and prosecutors say Pooh Shiesty was part of the group that ended up in this parking lot that October afternoon where the flew, and it happened right across the street from the police department and town hall here in Bay Harbor Island.
Shy's best friend, Big 30, defended him on Instagram Live when rappers accused him of cooperating with authorities in the industry. In order to get Shy out of jail in 2025, his attorneys negotiated a profit arrangement because he was facing serious charges. His discharge date was revealed by his mother.
My mama, if you see the paperwork, my mama, I do whatever y'all tell me to do. Cause my eyebrows, mustache, hair, I throw my chains in the river and jump in and shiesty snitch. Go home, take one to the. Ain't got no on that.
Because rappers were mocking him for allegedly cooperating without knowing the facts, scholars pointed out that Shy's imprisonment situation is unusual for someone who committed his offenses.
Salute to Pooh Shiesty, who looked like he's absolutely chilling in jail. My boy got a little Richard Millie, you know what I mean? Got the hair cut all right, you know what I mean?
They be playing Fortnite Mobile.
In jail? Oh, he got the Timbs on. They look fresh as well. Yo, this so chilling in prison, he got 2 watches. Like, you know what I mean? Like 2 watches, not even 1.
But in order to understand his official release date, it is essential to understand the most recent developments in his legal case, since experts have said that Pushy is at a halfway house. He will go home soon. Shy and his friend were planning a meetup for narcotics and high-end sneakers, according to the original criminal files. Shy can be spotted arriving in a red McLaren. The 2 men were robbed of their belongings by Shy and his associate while they waited for the merchant to arrive. When the vendor showed up, Shy immediately began examining the footwear in a proper manner, giving his associate enough time to get ready for what was going to happen. Then Shy tried to convince them to reduce the cost of the merchandise. It turned into a brawl though, and Shy drew a firearm from his belt. Both sellers tried to escape, but they were too slow and swerved behind their car when Shy hit them in the hip and the rear. While Shy was helping the 2 men, his partner grabbed the narcotics and sneakers and threw them back into the McLaren. Shy grabbed his friend and jumped into the passenger seat to make sure they weren't retaliating, then took one more look before boarding the McLaren. But when Shy slammed the car door, his Louis Vuitton luggage shook out of the door's side pocket. This bag, which had $40,000, was used by federal officials to identify Shy at the crime scene. Without delay, Shy departed the scene, hired a private plane, and took off from Florida, heading directly to the closest airport in Miami. The federal authorities, however, captured Shy a few days later.
The town of Bay Harbor Island says you're wanted He's also charged with armed robbery, battery in their affidavit, saying the 2 left the state in a private...
2 months after he bailed out of jail for $30,000, he was tried and sentenced.
Mr. Williams, you were arrested for pursuant to an arrest. It was issued June 3rd. It's charging you. You have 2 attorneys here, or is it? I'm sorry, 2 attorneys in the state. Go ahead. You want to announce again?
Brad Cohen and Sam Zegny for the defendant.
Have you had a chance to review?
Yes, Judge, we have.
Time travel to the end of his legal case. Scholars claim that Pooh Shiesty received a sentence of 63 months in prison. He faced an 8-year prison sentence. It seemed plausible that the Memphis rapper would receive a 63-month sentence for robbery and firearm charges. He was nearly ready for release, according to academics.
And I think he's coming home like next year, maybe the year after. However, it looked like he's, taking responsibility of whatever happened and doing his time, not crying. Clearly trying to let people know he's straight. And I do think when he comes back out, granted, as long as it's not like too far from now, if he comes back in a year, he's good. I still think even with it.
It's over. Shiesty's mother even said on Facebook, and it was extensively circulated online. Yet Pooh Shiesty has no qualms about committing crimes. It is widely believed that Shy committed a crime to improve his reputation and advance his rap career. It was soon found, though, that Shy had been acting in this way his entire life.
Yeah, I mean, look, Pooh Shiesty was probably the biggest artist that he signed in recent memory. But Pooh Shiesty had a history of crimes before he ever signed to Gucci. It ain't like, you know, he was like a school and Gucci suddenly put him in a bad direction. No, he was already doing it. Gucci wasn't around when he was doing all the crazy they got him locked up for. It just is what it is.
Pooh Shiesty's in prison right now for hitting somebody in the ass with a go while sitting inside of a McLaren.
Yeah.
Some Grand Theft Auto shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? But that's who he was before that. So it's like, that ain't a surprise. And Gucci ain't gonna tell you like he can't just change who you are as a person. So it's like, you know, but people come up with the conspiracy theories and the life insurance, whatever.
However, there is a single explanation for his early release. With the feds, Pushy struck a deal. In order for a criminal to be granted immunity, or, in this case, a reduced sentence, they must furnish the federal government additional details about their actions. Despite what the proffer describes, he only provided information about himself and gave an explanation of how he committed the crime. Highlighting his errors was the main thing he did for the federal government. He committed his first error, for example, when he carried out his armed robbery close to a police station. Since the footage of the incident was captured by the police station's camera across the street when the sound of adjacent firearms was heard, the police knew exactly where to go when they got to the parking lot, and they were able to pick up the Louis Vuitton bag that Shy had left behind. They had a novel notion about how to investigate the crime and whose bag it was because the public had alerted the federal authorities that Shy might be involved. Thanks to their detailed detective work, they were able to find that the serial numbers on the money in the bag matched the money in Shy's Instagram images, which they downloaded showing him displaying money all over his body. But Shy made a larger error the same night of the crime. He posted selfies of himself with the bright green McLaren, seemingly inviting the federal authorities to find and arrest him. Still rappers, since Shy made a lengthy statement from prison denouncing activities that were trying to discredit him, he has been calling out the label of cooperator and stated he would not tolerate it any longer. I have tens of millions, and I'm not impacted, King Shy said, tapping in from the middle of the prison. Google, please change my net worth. I was 21 with 8 digits, so we can verify that I'm currently behind bars and not in trouble. Jay-Z can't even comprehend my financial situation. Before I buy one of you, stop making fun of me by using my name. I'm wearing the same items from Tokyo to Tennessee, so you guys are nothing. I wear this stuff twice a day on Sundays. I've never been scared when I'm alone when playing. I am still the man of Memphis, the king. But Slick is almost the same man in the jungle, marginally more powerful. Speaking of Baby Larry though, how did you let a Federal Reserve man outshine you? You have to present yourself in the best possible light before we do anything. My loved ones and admirers who help me every day, keep it up. It's not in vain, I promise. I notice everything and have something unique for everyone. You're done? The others. Keep criticizing me, backbiting and spreading false narratives. A chip on my shoulder is present as I touch down. I'm doing everything I can for you folks, yet Shy is still locked up, but this was the first message he sent before being arrested.
Really when I got signed, but I'm gonna tell you before I got signed, like Breaking News. The verse on Breaking News made everybody go crazy. Folks started saying I'm their favorite rapper already, so I'm gonna stop.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It just made me go hard.
So the success kind of gave you the confidence to really keep it up?
Yeah, they rocking with me for sure.
Man.
It's in my first verse.
Pooh Shiesty, the rapper, may soon be released from prison though, as his sentence is almost up. Shy has apparently been waiting to resume his musical career. How likely is it that Shy will pick up where he left off in his musical journey? He says he has a lot of new ideas and is excited to develop them.